everybody, welcome to Home Park Medical Services. My name is Semanu Adoboy, and today we are discussing the risk factors of breast cancer. I believe you are all aware of breast cancer by now, being October, which is the Breast Cancer Awareness Month and all. Now, there are a few risk factors that we'll be talking about today. There are a whole lot more, but we are taking about just 4 of them today. And the very first thing on our list is something we call exposure to carcinogens. Now, when we say carcinogens are chemicals or substances that, when they get into your body, will cause your cells to behave abnormally or to over multiply than they should. So, those are certain things we call carcinogens. Now, the main places you can get carcinogens are basically from plastic materials when they are hot. There are certain chemicals that they use to produce those plastic materials that, when they leach into your food or water and you consume them, then they are introduced into your body. So this is a very big issue because most people these days have cars, most people have water bottles in their cars, and at the end of the day, the bottle is left in the car for a long period of time, and the sun might have heated the water in the bottle over some period of time. Then that same individual comes back, takes that water, and then drinks. When you do that, all the chemicals that are in the plastic material are leached or get exposed into the water, and then when you consume it, you are hereby taking some of these things we call carcinogens, which can cause cancer. So be careful about some of those things. Moving on, another thing that causes this leach of carcinogens into our foods or water is microwaving. Now, if you need to microwave your food, microwaving itself does not pose a threat or a challenge. Now, the issue is when you are microwaving in plastic bowls and utensils, those ones which are not microwave safe, then at the end of the day, the same phenomena happens where the microwave causes the heat to melt the various chemicals within the plastic to get into the food. And when that happens and you take that food, you are exposed to those chemicals that can cause cancer. So let us all be mindful of that. Moving on, the next thing we are going to be discussing today is contraceptive use. Most young ladies these days are frequently at pharmacies, and one of the main drugs they go for is the one we call Postino 2 or post pills. There are a whole lot of other post pills, but I just mentioned Postino 2 because it is the most popular among the young ladies these days. Now, what we've noticed is that long periods of exposure to such drugs, especially when a doctor has not prescribed it for you, seeing that it would help with your condition or not, when you go ahead and take such drugs, you are increasing your risk of breast cancer. So those young ladies out there, over to you. When you go and then you constantly expose yourself to taking all those drugs and things, you are just exposing yourself to those chemicals. Now, moving on, excessive alcohol consumption is also another key thing that we need to look at. Now, first of all, if you are someone who doesn't drink alcohol, don't go drinking alcohol because you've heard it has some benefits. Yes, we have researched into alcohol and we found out it has some very minute or very small benefits, but the benefit does not outweigh the risk of you getting exposed and getting drunk or getting exposed to a lot of it, which can cause problems for you later on. So let's keep a tab on that as well. So alcohol basically does this. It raises you up and then it keeps you down. So it lifts you up and it keeps you down, such that when you take it for the first few minutes or first few hours, you feel excited, you feel hyped and all of that. Then at the end of the day, it just slows down your system such that you wouldn't really be able to even direct yourself from left to right. So those are some of the things. Now, beyond this effects of alcohol, there are a whole lot more whereby the alcohol causes the cells in your body to react differently, or it causes them to function differently than they were supposed to. So when we keep on ingesting alcohol, when we take alcohol, especially in excessive amount, we are only increasing our risk of acquiring those cancers. So some of the cancers alcohol poses are a lot. It's not just breast cancer. We have the throat cancer, esophageal cancer, stomach cancer, a whole lot of them, especially the ones that affect the liver and all. So let us be watchful and mindful of some of the things that we consume. Now, the next thing is the intake of fat. The intake of fat. When you take in too much fat, it begins to pose a challenge. whereby it leaves your body in an obese state where your weight as compared to your height does not reach a certain standard. So when that happens, it causes your body to go through a whole series of stages whereby most often than not, your organs are covered in fats and oils such that they are not really able to work well, especially when you have the fat around the abdominal area or the stomach area, quote unquote. Then it so happens that most of your organs are covered in fats and oils, and therefore they can't really perform like the way they are supposed to. And research has found out that exposure to some of these things can cause a whole lot of problems. Thank you very much and have a